All right. Good morning, everyone. Good afternoon. Welcome to the Vendo Velocity podcast. Very excited to have you all here today. We've got some special guests joining. So we're going to be discussing maximizing Amazon affiliate success in 2025. For those of you who are just joining, Vendo is a full service digital marketplace agency. We manage over 400 brands across Amazon, Walmart, TikTok Shop, Target, and many other platforms and marketplaces. We have a team of experts, over 140 people specialized in all areas of the business. And the Vendo Velocity podcast is where we share all the tips, tricks, up and coming trends related to marketplace and digital. And so today we're having a quite the big topic actually in the Amazon world, as well as increasingly in the Walmart world, and that is affiliate marketing. Affiliate marketing has been around for a long time, but we have some experts here on the show today that are really deep into that world and can talk about all the great things that have been building up over the last couple years, especially. So I'll hand it off to David, our special guest, to introduce himself first.
Thank you, Nick. Pleasure to be here. I am David Katz, the co-founder of Archer Affiliates. We are one of the first affiliate marketing networks specifically designed for marketplaces and specifically Amazon. We work with over 3,000 Amazon sellers, enabling them to set up and offer commission incentives to our network of 5,000 plus affiliates, which includes influencers, media publishers, product comparison sites, media buyers, and all other different types of affiliates, all of whom are driving traffic back to Amazon and enabling Amazon sellers to obviously increase their total sales, and also the affiliates to start earning more money from sellers on the traffic that they're sending to Amazon.
Excellent. Thank you, David. And yeah, Archer's been doing some great things in the space, and we've been really happy working with them, and looking forward to continuing to grow. Jackie, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Jackie Carleton. I am the Creator Marketing Manager here at VENDO, and I help lead our Amazon affiliate programs.
Thank you, Jackie. All right, and I'm Nicolas Martinez, our SVP of Marketing. So I oversee the marketing department, which includes our Creator Marketing division that continues to grow very quickly. So let's jump into it. I'll go a little bit over the agenda here, and then we'll start getting into the meat of it. So today we're going to be talking about some of the kind of key components of Amazon affiliate. In particular, the trends and changes that we're seeing happening right now and that we're expecting to happen later into the year. We'll kick it off with a discussion around why do you even want to care about Amazon affiliate? Why is it important? And typically that starts from kind of a comparison of how does it compare to a direct-to-consumer affiliate program, right? Why should I be focused on Amazon in addition to, or even instead of, my D2C program? We'll go over the Amazon affiliate communities or programs, Amazon Associates, which has been around for a couple decades, and then Amazon's Creator Connections platform, which is native to Amazon Seller and Vendor Central. And then we'll also have a discussion around how can you maximize Amazon affiliate success in 2025, right? What are all the best practices, but what are also some of the kind of golden nuggets, as we like to say, right, that maybe don't become too clear for a while, right? So you can lean into our years of expertise here and get a head start on your affiliate program. But first off, let's talk about Amazon affiliate versus direct-to-consumer affiliate programs. I'll kick it off with just a little bit of an anecdote from my experience. I've had the benefit of working on the brand side as well as the agency side for many years, and there's a lot that you want to do on Amazon that you seem like you can't do, and you can do on D2C or Shopify, but there's also some things that you can't do on Shopify that you can do on Amazon. And really, the Amazon effect is what I want to talk about here. The Amazon effect is the high trust, the high credibility that customers have, shoppers have when they come to Amazon, especially in terms of being a new to brand customer, right? If I'm an affiliate and I send somebody to a D2C site as a new customer, they're going to be most likely less likely to convert than if I send them to Amazon. Amazon typically has about 4 to 5 times the conversion rate of D2C. So from a new to brand acquisition standpoint, a conversion rate standpoint, Amazon is going to perform significantly better than Shopify. And so that is just a huge innate kind of benefit of Amazon. But let's talk a little bit more about maybe some of the algorithmic benefits, or some of the monetary benefits. Dave, what do you see on the Amazon space compared to D2C that's really different?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think before we even jump into that of like how do you compare it to D2C, I think that the first thing, and this is kind of where we, like a lot of our inbound clients come from, is there's Amazon in a certain sense. There's obviously all this opportunity and whatnot, but in a certain sense, the ability that a brand has to market on Amazon is pretty capped. And what I mean by that is a lot of Amazon marketing is related to PPC, obviously building really good listings. And with those strategies, you're essentially targeting customer demand, but that's it. You're capped at whatever that demand is, which in a lot of cases is pretty massive. But with affiliate and with new channels of like even general external traffic, you're moving way more up the funnel, and really broadening your horizons and audiences of the potential, or your potential audiences of who you can target, which I think is really important, especially in, we see with like a lot of innovative products, more expensive products, very niche categories where search demand is somewhat capped. External traffic kind of gives you that next level ability to start broadening your horizons and really targeting customers at just earlier stages in the purchasing journey, as opposed to when they're already searching for your product on Amazon. Then the conversation kind of becomes more along the line of what you're asking, which is, all right, we have this marketing budget to put towards affiliate or to put towards external traffic. Why would we put that? Let's put that to our website. Generally speaking, D2C is obviously more profitable. You could avoid all the Amazon fees, all the FBA fees, the storage fees. So if we're going to spend X amount of dollars, put out this budget, we might as well put it to D2C. And those are conversations we have with a lot of brands. And in almost all cases, it doesn't make sense. On the surface level, it seems like it makes sense. But in almost all cases, it doesn't make sense, mainly for the reasons which you mentioned, which is the number one, first and foremost, conversion rate on Amazon is ridiculously way higher than almost the best performing D2C websites out there. There's a certain amount of trust and familiarity that customers just have with Amazon. When they go on an Amazon listing, they know what to do. They know where to purchase it. They know how to purchase it. They know where on the listing to look for specific product information. They don't have to go around clicking and figuring out and learning your websites. That credibility and comfortability that Amazon provides to customers is essentially unmatched. And publishers see that. Publishers know that in a lot of cases, even though commissions might be lower on Amazon as opposed to D2C because brands' profit margins are lower, their traffic is going to convert better, which essentially for them means more money, right? If they send traffic to a listing on the D2C website that has 10 times lower the conversion, even if the commission is like 5% lower on Amazon than it is on D2C, they're going to end up earning more money because of that increased conversion. And the final piece of this is, and something that is surprising to me that brands are still kind of unaware of. I think it's changed. I think in the past 6 to 12 months, there's been a lot of education and brands kind of know about it and are utilizing it. But there's still quite a few brands, especially some of the larger, more enterprise brands, that are just totally not aware of the brand referral bonus, that bonus that Amazon offers, which is massive. In some categories, it goes up to as high as like 11, 12% that Amazon essentially reimburses you on any sales that occur on traffic which comes from outside of Amazon, or at least Seller Central brands. And to tap into that's massive. And that 10% goes a long way when it comes to putting that budget back in and incentivizing all these creators and influencers and affiliates to drive more traffic.
Yeah, very, very, very thorough. I mean, so tons of benefits, right? From the algorithm to the brand referral bonus. I mean, the list really goes on, and I think the systematic nature of how the algorithm works is really a huge one. Like here at Vendo, we look at when we can, we look at a lot of other kind of KPIs in terms of success on Amazon. Jackie, do you want to kind of speak to maybe some of those KPIs, like when we're thinking about ranking and other aspects?
Yeah, so when it comes to KPIs, we do a very thorough pacing dashboard for all of our clients and brands. So I would say some of those things that we look at are, engagement, EMV, impressions, return on investment, and just overall, I would say commissions, sales. Um, yeah, I think those are kind of some of the ones that we hone in on when it comes to reporting.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I mean, the ranking, looking at it holistically in terms of how am I driving up the ranking when I get that engagement, when I get that traffic, and what does that do to the algorithm? That's where you can kind of really key in on some additional benefits from driving the traffic. Obviously, the directly attributable sales are going to be the main KPI to look at when we're thinking about affiliate, but we want to see, like the saying goes, is high tides raise all boats, right? We want to see what else is raising up as we bring in that kind of influx of affiliate traffic.
Yeah, I think to kind of echo and one last piece here that I think ties into a lot of what I said before and what Jackie mentioned is also we like to work on strategies surrounding new products, like new launches, where all these things are super important. And sometimes it can be really difficult to get a very good PPC campaign going from day one when launching a new product in Amazon and putting that a lot of budget and a very high aggressive commission rate towards the affiliates who can, push this product out. And again, like I said before, especially in some of these niche categories where search customer demand and search is somewhat limited. It's proven to be really effective and obviously tying back into all these things such as ranking and all those concepts.
Awesome. Well, let's move on here to a little bit of a discussion around Amazon Associates and Creator Connection. I know we get a lot of questions about Creator Connections, and it's been a bit of a hit or miss for our brands over the years, but it's definitely something that we manage as a best practice when we're looking at Amazon affiliates. So Jackie, could you share some of the pros and cons between kind of how we look at those two different programs and how they actually can work together too?
Totally. So Amazon Associates is anybody can become an associate, and they have a unique link that they can share across their socials, blogs, websites, etc. And then when it comes to Creator Connections, it's Amazon's owned influencer program connecting brands or Amazon sellers to influencers, and any sort of Amazon influencer or Amazon associate can join this program. So there are a lot of benefits of this program. You get access to Amazon specific influencers. You can communicate and track performance directly on Amazon. There's also a low financial risk, meaning that it's a commission-based model only. So affiliates will only get paid once a sale is generated. And there's no additional service fees or costs associated with this program. That said, there are definitely some drawbacks too. So even though that you have access to all of these Amazon specific influencers, I would say the pool of influencers can be quite limited as opposed to some of those other platforms and tools that we see. There's also no outreach or sourcing of these affiliates. So once the campaign goes live, it's really up to the affiliate to join the program. And then lastly, I would say because of this, because you're not able to source and find your own affiliates within these programs, it's definitely harder to scale. There's not a whole lot of customization. You can't tier commission structures. So those are some of the drawbacks that we see with Creator Connections.
Yeah, certainly. And I know we've come up with some best practices around managing Creator Connections. For example, having like a sample request form that you can have set up in your profile there, or your campaign information there. So, instead of having to kind of just take all these sample requests as they come in through the chat, you can have a nice clean way with vetting questions as well to make sure that, when you go to consider that sample, you're looking at a lot of information readily available there. There's also some other kind of tricks, such as really just putting in a big budget in your creator connections campaign, and using that as a way to show affiliates, hey, like we mean business here. We're willing to invest in this. You know, we don't just have $1,000 budget. We have a 10 or even $100,000 budget, and you can always end those campaigns early too. You don't have to actually like use all of that budget. I mean, it could get used once you set it, but there's that opportunity. So, you know, creator connections is again a good best practice, but we find platforms, you know, like Archer very much more effective and productive in having control and really scaling affiliate. But wanted to make sure to kind of go over how that intersects with the program, of course.
Yeah, I'll just jump in there. You know what I think. When brands ask us about creator connections, you know, obviously we don't directly, at least now, work with creator connections in a large capacity. We're testing a few things, but nothing public yet. And what we tell brands is kind of like Jackie said, it's super low risk. So there's no reason why not. I think that the biggest differences here are, number one, a lot of the restrictions such as budgeting, which you guys both mentioned, and the customizable commissions and a lot of that type of stuff. But I think that the biggest thing that we see is just, again, and we touched on this on the top of the call in the last question, which is the brand referral bonus or the lack thereof. That obviously is not in effect when it comes to any sales that are driven through creator connections. There's no 10% brand referral bonus. There's not a lot of outreach. The cool thing that I do like about creator connections is that it does include on Amazon content, which I think is really cool. So like when you work with influencers through creator connections, it can, you know, there's some new KPIs. It's not just external traffic. Like there's places where the creators can post videos on Amazon within the listings, you know, on Amazon Live, stuff like that. And you have the ability to actually incentivize them for sales that are driven through their on Amazon content, meaning Creator Connections tracks those sales, which I think is a pretty big value add. And there is no capability with programs like Archer, which utilize Amazon attribution. For most brands, in almost all cases, it's going to make sense for them to have both programs running. That's just the way it is today. That's kind of the way we see it. So again, our recommendation is, you know, kind of have both programs running. It also, there's a lot of rule changes, which I think we're going to touch on at some point in this call, where specific creators prefer creator connections and vice versa, where some creators prefer more of the classic Amazon attribution models and tools like Archer. So as a brand, it's just important to kind of meet the creator where they are and make sure you're maximizing all opportunities. And I think also fundamentally, it's, again, like Jackie said, it's super low risk, like high upside, low risk. I think there's not a whole lot of those types of opportunities. So if you're a brand, you got to really be taking advantage of wherever those opportunities are.
Yeah, excellently said. And you know, I think you brought up something that we missed out on earlier, which was, you know, the Amazon affiliates that do have their own storefront that are posting to Amazon, not just to, you know, their different publications or their social platforms, right? Like the affiliates that live native to Amazon Marketplace and operate there. And we've come up with some different strategies around how to work with those types of affiliates. For example, a competitor targeting type approach, right? Where you work with an affiliate who does a comparison video, right? So comparing, you know, one protein powder to another protein powder, and you know, you send them both samples of your product and your competitor's product.
Cool.
You brief them on you know, your product. Think of it as like a comparison matrix has come to life, right? So obviously the creator needs to you know, be authentic and really make a fair comparison, but we're arming them with the pros and cons of our product compared. And you know, there's always going to be pros and cons on each side, and so they review that, and then they have special rights to publish that video to the competitor's page as well as your page. So you're thereby effectively creating almost a competitor targeting ad, but you only have that upfront cost that you paid to work with the creator, and then that video can live for months or even years depending on how it performs. So you don't have to keep putting bids and budgets behind that video like you would with a competitor targeting ad. So that's like a unique way that we've kind of tapped into this ecosystem.
That's awesome.
and figured out, hey, like, how do we really expand the power of this? And then Jackie does a great job in our team kind of checking in with those creators every month and understanding, hey, what are we seeing on that video, you know, in terms of views, and what can we estimate in terms of like sales and market share that we're taking. And so there's so much that you can do with
Yeah.
it.
I think the cool part of all of this is really just, I think it's a whole new concept, and I think the future age of being able to have data driven insights when it comes to working with creators and influencers. It really hasn't been the case for in I would say within the past 6 months. It's kind of like the new concept here that's really driving a lot of these types of campaigns and these types of marketing budgets forward. It's not anymore just like, you know, let's take these crazy 6-figure budgets and throw it at creators. It's starting to become all performance based and all really make sense, and be really data driven, which fundamentally I think is awesome.
Excellent. Well, we got a question for someone in the audience here. I'll go ahead and read it off, and then either of you feel free to answer if you'd like. So Sohan asks, when driving off-platform traffic, I've heard that if you don't drive external traffic, it converts, it can drive down the BSR, the bestseller ranking. Are there any best practices for selecting influencers who create content that would convert better on Amazon?
It's a good question. I mean, fundamentally, I don't think that external traffic is weighted any more than regular traffic or organic traffic. Fact of the matter is, when a product has traffic that doesn't convert, Amazon's going to recognize that and not rank that product as well as they rank converting products, right? Amazon's just one big algorithm where they want to show customers products that they think they're most likely to buy. So I think number one, first and foremost, is cliche as it sounds, is, you know, before you, and much like any marketing, before you invest heavily in anything, specifically affiliate is the same, you know, make sure you have a nice listing. I would say at least a few reviews, at least a decent amount of reviews. And then there's, I would say, certain types of affiliates that we see that tend to have a significantly higher conversion rate. Like specifically one that stands out is deal and coupon sites. Obviously, when there's an effective deal and when there's a really good deal and coupon sites tend to have significantly higher conversion rates as opposed to, let's just say, influencers, who sometimes people tend to click a link, check out the product, not necessarily purchase it, but kind of want to learn more. So there is, I would say, some sort of advantage. I don't have like hard data or anything to like show how working with specific types of influencers had more or less of an impact when it came to organic ranking. It's a little murky, but I you know, the idea does, I would say, seem to be true. And where we've seen a lot of, or I should say, significantly high conversion rate in comparison to other groups of affiliates would be in that anything related to deal and coupon, it kind of gives that feeling to the customer of like, this is going to go away. This is a limited time exclusive offer, and creates that scarcity element of purchasing, which is sometimes hard to do when it's just a, you know, standard product. But if you offer a 20-30% promo code, there's some sort of indication that this is like, to a customer, that this is like, okay, we don't just have to purchase this, we have to purchase this now, or else we're going to miss this. And that obviously has an impact on conversion rates, and remains to be seen if it's conclusive, but obviously seemingly so, those have pretty drastic impacts on organic ranking.
Yeah, I would say the same thing. I think we've been on a lot of calls and with some Amazon sellers and brands, and I think one thing that comes up frequently is social affiliates, and I think a lot of brands think that those social affiliates are driving conversions and the most amount of traffic. But again, to your point, we do see more of those deal and coupon sites outperforming everybody else in the other categories. So I think also just educating some of those brands on the different types of groups of affiliates that are really driving those conversions.
Yeah. All
right. Well, thanks for that conversation there. Very intriguing. Hopefully everyone's getting some good actionable items. If anyone has any questions, feel free to leave them in the chat. We'll make sure to get to them. But let's talk a little bit more now, maybe a little bit more tangibly around, you know, how do we operate an affiliate business, right? Who do we work with? What tools do we use, right? Tools like Archer. What are some of the best practices around catching the attention of affiliates, engaging them to want to work with you, nurturing them, right? There's all these things that you have to do through through the programs to really make it a success. And it does take time, right? It's not like, you set up an affiliate program and overnight it's a massive part of your Amazon business. Maybe a little bit easier with brands with bigger brand awareness, but for the most part, you got to put in the grind to get the results. So Jackie, I know you and our team are doing a lot in this regard and really working on how do we optimize our process. So could you speak a little bit to, how are we driving external traffic? What are the types of processes and platforms we're using?
Yeah, so I think there's a lot of different ways that we can drive external traffic to Amazon to really diversify our outreach efforts and maximize and scale our programs. So a few examples of this would be working with different types of Amazon affiliate platforms, like Archer, doing some manual research on our own and really building our own internal database of affiliates. Then, of course, we have Amazon Creator Connections, as well as Amazon's influencer list subscription. And then lastly, we can also work with more of those traditional social only platforms to source affiliates. So I think those are a couple different ways to really diversify the types of affiliates that you're bringing into the program.
Yeah, so it's a lot of options out there, right? And so we like to lean into what works, right, and kind of cut off the fat and of what's not working. And so after a couple of years of really focusing on making this a big part of our brand's incremental growth, we've found those platforms that work very well. But you gotta kind of keep an open mind to everything that's coming out, because this industry, it's evolving so quickly. And something too, I just wanted to get back to Sohan's question real quick too, that you made me think of here, Jackie, which is the social affiliate that you're trying to drive to Amazon. Like we don't work with the social affiliates as much, like Jackie said, as some of the deal sites, the PR type publishers, the review publications, the media buyers, those types of affiliates where we really see success. But when we are working with social affiliates, we're putting a lot of effort into vetting their conversion rate ability, right? So link clicks are going to be a big part of that. If we can get link clicks from social affiliates, we can then look at, hey, what's their click-through rate going to be? And then we can estimate their conversion rate. And so that would be kind of a way that we would kind of forecast before we work with those influencers, so that to your point, Sohan, we wouldn't be driving as many people that might not convert, right? So, but with affiliate, it's a lot harder because you're not usually able to get that type of data. All right, so going back to some other ways to maximize Amazon affiliate success. So Jackie just spoke about some of the different sources of finding affiliates. And then in terms of engaging with the affiliates and nurturing them, David, I know you're doing this, with countless brands and across many different categories. What do you see work the best to really, keep brands top of mind for your affiliate network?
It's a good question, and it's tough to answer on a general level. I would say it's number one going to matter on the type of product and the type of category, and then more importantly, it's going to matter on the type of affiliate. Different affiliates are obviously going to care about different things. And just a key example of that is I'll take an example that we already used in a different situation is the difference between a deal site, let's just say, and an influencer. Deal sites, and this is not always the case, but this tends to be the case. Most deal sites won't necessarily care on what the commission is, or at least let's just say the difference between like a product at a 15% commission and a 20% commission, kind of insignificant, not going to matter for them as much as say a review site or a mass media publisher, where the difference of a lot of times they're spending money on social or retail media to drive traffic to their content. And the difference of offering a 15 or 20 or 25% commission is going to actually make a significant impact, where a deal site, the commission, 5% difference in the commission, not going to really matter. What they care about is obviously how big is the discount? What type of discount can that brand offer? What type of promo code could that brand offer? So that idea and that ability to really understand the different buckets of what the affiliates are and what exactly they want, I think is crucial here in terms of maximizing performance. Offering that blanket 20-25% commission across the board might be a good strategy to launch and get things started. But then it becomes, all right, what's the nitty gritty? How can we really customize this and personalize this for each individual type of affiliate?
Excellent. I think that's a great segue into a little bit more of the kind of step-by-step depth of how we approach engaging and nurturing the affiliate. So Jackie, if you could share about that, please.
Yeah, so I think of relationship building with our affiliates is extremely important. We want to arm our affiliates with everything that they need to be successful. So what does that look like? We provide detailed briefs to our affiliates to help them understand, who the Amazon seller is, who the brand is, and then also what products are a part of the program and some product knowledge, because ultimately the affiliates are going to be speaking about the products. So what do they need to know? What are the benefits? How does the product work? What are the unique selling points? And then I would also say that we're communicating with our affiliates daily. We're outsourcing, we're reaching out to new affiliates, we're sending them customized messaging on a bi-weekly or monthly basis. And we call these our newsletters. And what these newsletters include are any sort of brand updates, any sort of upcoming deals and promotions, as well as bigger product launches, and then anything else that we want our affiliates to know. For bigger tentpole events like Amazon Prime Day, we would also message out these deals and promotions, I would say as far out as 4 to 6 weeks. This way our affiliates have time to plan any sort of content, and then also on our end, we can secure top placements with some of our bigger affiliates. And then I know David touched on this as well, but customizing our commission structures. So typically when we launch a new brand or a product, we would have a higher commission rate, and this is just to help attract more affiliates and really scale the program. After that activation period, I think that we can go back to the data and performance and try to understand who are the affiliates that are driving the most sales, what products are selling the most, and then we can kind of tier the commission structures for each affiliate, or depending on the product, and just really looking at the data to help inform our strategy moving forward.
Yeah, I think the activation campaigns have been really helpful and kind of fast tracking success at the beginning, especially if you're a brand that doesn't have that strong brand awareness. So that's been key. And then, like Jackie said, just really trying to kind of keep them in tune with what's going on with the brand. Like David said, different affiliates will operate differently. Some of them don't necessarily need that kind of consistent, kind of personalized communication. They work a bit more like a machine and have things kind of just activating all the time. Whereas, more, I would say, on like the individual level affiliates, you do kind of want to engage them as part of the brand community, right? And some of those types of affiliates will even go on to be brand ambassadors, right? They'll be really faces of the brand in many ways. And so, I've seen brands when they really get serious about their affiliate program, like they build out, Slack groups or Discord groups to house those affiliates and have that greater sense of community and bonding and all of that. So it really can change depending on the type of affiliate. So you just have to kind of see how they like to operate and then lean into that as deeply as you can.
Yeah, I would say one other thing that kind of plays a role here is the catalog size. It's actually interesting. This is something new that we don't always lean into as much or even realize as much, but something that recently we've seen where a brand with a smaller catalog, we're going to put more emphasis and focus on recruiting new affiliates, as opposed to a brand with a larger catalog. We're going to try to work within the network of affiliates that are already reputable with the brand and already have promoted the brand and know about it. And at least have seen success in a single product, and try to push them to promote different types of products from that brand or different brands. It's obviously the better solution or the better strategy, I guess. But if it's a brand with a limited catalog, you don't really always have that capability where, in those cases, obviously the focus is going to be to recruit new affiliates. But brands that have that capability and have those deep catalogs, the focus and the first kind of strategy that we're always going to do is really push other products from that brand to those creators.
Excellent tidbit there to grab onto. So hopefully everyone wrote that down. But yeah, so let's talk a little bit more about kind of some of these best practices in particular for 2025. What are you seeing, David, in terms of like what's coming up? What should we be kind of planning towards? And also, what were some of those policy changes that we saw recently that have kind of caused some disruption? And yeah, if you could speak to that, I think that'd be super relevant.
Yeah, I mean, to start with the latter, and it will kind of lead into best practices. I think that the policy changes that happened late December, early January, or they kind of went into effect late December, I guess, where Amazon told publishers and affiliates that they can no longer essentially use both a standard associates link where they get paid out directly from Amazon in conjunction with an attribution link where they're getting that payout from the brand. A lot of theories and reasons as to why Amazon probably did this, but that went into effect, like I said, late December. And what that's kind of created and what's happened is now publishers and affiliates and creators have to make decisions as to how they want to work with brands and what types of products they want to promote. Essentially, what it boils down to, are they going to promote products on Creator Connections, and are they going to promote products on attribution or within like networks similar to Archer? And it's not always black and white. There's creators that do both and kind of decide on a product basis. There's creators that exclusively are promoting products in Creator Connections, and creators that are exclusively promoting products in networks like Archer's and with attribution links. And I think what that leads to in 2025, the new strategy and the goal for brands is really going to be to, number one, diversified, like we kind of touched on at the beginning. I think the coolest thing here with affiliate is that the barrier to entry is so low and the upside is so high. So really take advantage of as many programs and as much opportunities and tools as there are as possible, because the risk is just not massive. And really stay in tune to what how the market kind of shakes out. The changes are pretty recent, and I think a lot of the dust is still settling in terms of what best practices and how big and what the opportunity actually is. And I think staying ahead of that and being at the forefront of that is really important for brands, which kind of boils down to what I said before, just really taking advantage of everything there is to offer. I don't think there's a reason to make a decision as to if a brand should be in Creator Connections or Archer. It's, the barrier to entry is really low. Take advantage of everything and see what works best.
Love it, and that's our point of view here too at Vendo. Leave no stone unturned. There's never been as good of a time now to get involved with affiliate for Amazon. So never have there been as many resources, as much support from Amazon as well. I mean, I remember just maybe 2 or 3 years ago where I don't think there was a single influencer, affiliate, creator, whatever you want to call it, platform that actually had API access approval from Amazon, right, to integrate. Not one anyway that was really doing big things. So Amazon kind of finally letting these types of tech integrate into their platform, into Amazon, and be able to have that data sharing has been a huge change, right? It really, I feel like has been a big part of what's opened up the floodgates in a lot of ways. So that's great to see Amazon supporting it, and then people like David at Archer and others that are really leading the front. So let's talk a little bit more about that, Jackie. We've seen a lot just in the last year since you've been with Vendo, and over the last couple of years that I've been trying to build this out too. Like, what are some of those resources? What are some of the benefits there, and how are you approaching that with your team?
Yeah, I would say, to your guys' point, there's so many changes constantly. So, always researching and finding new ways to build out our affiliate programs. We have seen a lot of our affiliate partners and platforms working more closely with Amazon and integrating to build links and performance. And I would also just say, yeah, be open-minded and working with those affiliate platforms. I would also say that if your brand is running influencer campaigns, I think that there's going to be more of a synergy between influencer and affiliate. So you might be paying an influencer a flat fee payment, but then also building in more commission-based models within those bigger influencer campaigns, and therefore driving more social affiliates to your affiliate programs.
All right, excellent. Well, I think we've covered a lot here today. We've gone over the different ways of looking at affiliate for Amazon versus, for D2C. We've talked about some of the differences between Amazon's owned programs being Amazon Associates, Creator Connection, and Amazon Attribution. We've talked about some different ways to maximize affiliate success, right? Working with different types of affiliates, meaning, different forms of affiliate marketing, different ways to nurture and drive engagement on an ongoing basis, and really maximize that opportunity that you have with that affiliate, right? Whether it's through, really carefully written creative briefs, or using that commission rate input strategically to drive excitement. And we've talked about several of the different trends and changes in 2025, one of which we were all surprised with towards the beginning of the year when Amazon made that policy change, and we had to kind of all go back to the drawing board. David, Jackie, anything else you want to share about what to be thinking about going into 2025? Any last final kind of nuggets you want to give the audience?
Nothing in particular outside of what I said before, which is really, I think we're at a pretty pivotal point in terms of where a lot of where affiliates heading. I think it's really just the first inning in terms of what this means for marketplace Amazon sellers. And I think as a brand, it's important to really stay at the forefront of that. You definitely want to be a first mover and get that competitive advantage of being a first mover, and really build out the program. I think it's still really early and there's still a lot of opportunity, but there's still a lot of uncertainty in terms of where, what the difference is between the platforms and then how different Amazon programs kind of shake up. So definitely as a brand, it's important to really do research, be at the forefront, test a lot, and really build this meaning affiliate programs for the future, because fundamentally, obviously, affiliate is here to stay in the world of Amazon marketing.
Excellent. And Jackie, any final things to say here?
Yeah, I would just say working with VENDO and building Amazon affiliate programs, I think on the brand side, I would just say be patient. The Amazon affiliate programs do take a little while to mature, so hang in there. And we've seen a lot of success with some brands. But yeah, the 1 to 3 months, I would say, is really the onboarding and the scaling. And then after that, we'll start growing and continue to grow past the 6 to 9 months.
Yeah, and I think if we were to share some of the case studies, some of which you can find on our website as well, some of the success we've seen growing a brand's Amazon sales, within 3 months, 22% of their Amazon sales were directly attributed to affiliate. I think that was one of the faster kind of success stories. We had another brand that was able to drive over $1 million in affiliate sales within the first 3 months as well. We have other brands that we've been managing their affiliate program for about 5 or 6 months, and maybe 5% of their total Amazon sales are coming from affiliate, and so we're continuing to hustle and really get that up. I've seen affiliate programs on the brand side for Shopify affiliate programs in the past, get up to as high as like 40% of sales coming from affiliate. So we're trying to make it just as big as for Shopify, for D2C, and I think we can do it with all these kind of great resources and evolutions that we're having. So hopefully everyone got some great information here to kind of get out there and start making change and see success. David, where can people find you if they'd like?
I am on LinkedIn, David Katz, and if you want some more information about Archer and the network and signing up and all that, feel free to drop us a line on archeraffiliates.com.
Excellent. And yep, and feel free to follow the podcast or live stream wherever you're watching. We're on YouTube, we're on Facebook, we're on LinkedIn. We go live pretty much every other Tuesday at 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 Eastern, and then all of the recordings will be shared across YouTube, Apple, Spotify, and SoundCloud. So feel free to subscribe there to be updated. Thank you so much, David, for joining us. Really awesome to finally have you on here after we've had a couple good years of working together. Looking forward to continuing that. Jackie, thanks for sharing all your knowledge. And yeah, everyone, thanks for joining, and we'll see you next time.
It's been awesome. Thanks for having me, guys.